Hello, everybody. I always your vessel. Hi, everyone. Come on in. Come on in. Come on in. I can tell the night away. I can tell the night away. Hi, everyone. Come on in. Come on in. Come on in. Let me turn this down a little bit. Hi, everybody. I hope you're having a good Wednesday. Happy Wednesday. When you come on, say hello. Let me know you're here. Drop a comment, say hello. Let me know how your day has been. I hope you guys had a good memory. We had a 3-day weekend, at least most people did. So I hope you're all having a good Wednesday. And come on in, say hello. Hello, Mr. Kindari. Shalafia Sending nice Memorial weekend and everything. So come on in. You don't want to miss the video today. I want to talk about a very, very common topic, but specifically how we won this case, an extreme cruelty petition to remove conditions in residency. How we won that case and take you through that and what you can do to help your case if you find yourself going through that. So come on in, say hello. This is Attorney Episode Ole Samuel. I think I have the wrong. Let me see it. I'll put this one up. Okay, yeah, there we go. If you need to contact my office, number is 334-341-4475. You can also send me an email directly to aos@olelawfirm.com. And for my Yoruba speaking people, everybody watch it. And the band immigration issue tabali help you kick with me. How do you say? No, I can't say number. I can say numbers here. Now let me try. Miss Akindari, help me out. Eta Emery. Okan. Don't make fun of my Yoruba. 4475 something. So a little story. When I was in the equivalent of high school, senior year, SS3 in Nigeria, you have to take a final exam before you can go to college, YA examination. And one of the subjects I took was Yoruba language. I don't know what happened. I can never forget. The topic was Ifeto Somo Bibi, meaning family planning. I wrote an essay on child christening. I wrote an essay on child christening. Somehow, by the miracle of God, I got an A in Yoruba language. Don't ask me how. Gotta ask God. So anyway, alafia lewa. So if you are someone who is going through, who has to file a petition to remove the conditions of your residency, and you have a case where your spouse is not going to file with you, you want to come in and hear how we won an extreme cruelty petition to remove conditions of residency in our client that came to us less than a month and a half to the time he had his interview. So a lot of people fall within this. And one of the reasons why I do immigration practice, why I practice immigration law, and specifically cater to African males, is because I understand the culture we're being raised in. And then when you come over here and you're subjected or emasculated at the point. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm a feminist through and through. That's one of the reasons I got divorced. But I also understand clearly that there's a reason why God made man. A man is a man is a man. When a man comes here from Nigeria or from Senegal and from Ghana and they come and they get married and they're emasculated and they're belittled and they become prisoners even in their own homes, in their own lives. For me, it just doesn't sit well with me. And that's what this case was about. That was what happened in this case. So If you are going through that, you have your conditional residency and you have to file petitions to remove your conditions of your residency, and you have a spouse who's not going to file jointly with you, you want to hear this. I have quite a number of immigration cases, especially petitions to remove conditions or waivers. But this case became very personal for me, not because I knew him before, because I knew that he was struggling with a lot of pressure, culture, and traditions, and we just had to figure out a way to help him out. And so, once again, this is Attorney Abisola Ole Samuel, immigration lawyer. I am based in Alabama, but I represent immigration clients in all 50 states. If you haven't subscribed to YouTube, please subscribe to the YouTube channel, Ole Law Firm. If you have friends, please share this video, especially for those who are in the position of going from a 2-year green card to a 10-year green card. And so that's what this topic is about, how we want an extreme cruelty waiver ground for a client. And if you're on Instagram, please follow us on Instagram and on TikTok as well. So let's get started. I-751 is what you file when you have a conditional residency and you want to get your 10-year green card. And so you have to file 751 and you're required to file jointly with your spouse. However, if you're not going to file jointly with your spouse, you have to select one of the waiver grounds. We have 3 main ones. We have the divorce waiver ground, we have the extreme cruelty waiver ground, and then we have the extreme hardship waiver ground. Now, divorce waiver ground is very straightforward. You have to prove that even though the marriage is ended in divorce, it was still a good faith marriage. Extreme hardship, on the other hand, and extreme cruelty, you have to prove that you were the victim of abuse. You suffered abuse at the hands of your spouse, and that's why you're not filing jointly. Extreme hardship, that if your residency is terminated, then you will suffer hardship. And these are the reasons why, the factors they would consider. This is the reasons. In this case, I am super excited because to be able to tell a client that thought he was going to end up in immigration court or he's going to be deported, he was actually thinking of moving to another country. But just because his spouse wanted to sabotage him to get his 10-year green card. So to be able to tell a client, like, guess what? Your kid's got approved. Nothing compares. So the facts of this case. My client had a previous lawyer, and I'm not bashing any lawyer, nothing. But the thing is this: if a lawyer tells you that all hope is lost, please get a second opinion. I may be your second opinion. I may be your first opinion where you have to get a second opinion. If for whatever reason you're not sure and you want to, you just want to double check, get a second opinion. Don't just accept defeat. And that's what he did. So he had a previous lawyer. They knew from the word go that he wasn't going to file jointly with his spouse because his spouse actually left days before his petition was due. And that was intentional. And they knew that before that. And they filed the extreme cruelty waiver, right? But the thing is this: nothing really was sent in to support that waiver ground. If you're asking immigration to consider something and waiver requirement, you must be able to support that with facts and evidence. So the lawyer told him, hey, Mr. ABC, you've got to get a divorce. If you don't get a divorce, we cannot help you. And that was, they did not select a divorce waiver ground, but they felt the only way they could win the extreme cruelty was to show that he was divorced and maybe add that. Now, the issue with that is I've got a client who's from Nigeria. I'm Nigerian, so I know that we don't get divorced. Now, when we say we don't get divorced, I am divorced. But that's another story for another day. We don't get divorced because the culture and traditions are against that. You stay married till Jesus comes back. So I knew that it wasn't really an option for him, even though he has been mistreated by his spouse, deprived access to his children. But, there's nothing he could do. Had no clue where his children had been taken. But he said, I'm not going to need a divorce. His parents were in his ear, and he lives in another ear, and that wasn't an option. So I said, okay, what about psychological evaluation? No, we don't do therapy. Cultural thing. But I came on the case. We had an interview scheduled April 28th. This was in Kentucky. So yes, I do go wherever you have to go. I keep saying it. If you've got an immigration case to return my services, I will travel and come meet you where you are. We had an interview scheduled for April 28th. He called me less than a month and a half to interview day. We had a consultation. I told him, I said, it may be hard, but I do see a way. We can use this. We can bolster your waiver ground of extreme cruelty. Give me what you have and all that. So one of the very first things we did was one of the good things about this case is he had a complete copy of his file. I did not have to do a FOIA request. I did not have to call the previous attorney like, hey, can you give me this and give me that? I was able to review the record and see what was deficient from the record and get to work. We had to start. And so another thing we did is we drafted a very, very detailed affidavit, including the fact that culture plays a part in why men, in particular, men do not go to the police and report. They don't report abuse. They don't want to do therapy. Black men generally, but African men do not do the police report. The culture frowns against it, and don't do therapy. So I knew that I had to include that in the affidavit so that immigration understands where he's coming from and part of what, even though they're not mandated to take that into consideration, but you can be aware. We sent in photographs. We sent in a detailed affidavit. We sent him affidavits from friends that knew about what was going on and he had spoken to, right? And another thing we did in advance is this. Sometimes you take in an amended or additional evidence to your interview. I did not want to wait until the day of the interview to do that. I wanted, and so this is strategy. I wanted the immigration officer, the interviewing officer, to have this package, have the additional evidence in advance of our interview date. That was very important. Why? So that because when they're getting ready for interviews, they'll have to review your file. And part of what they do is to be able to familiarize themselves with your file. And so sending that in gives that person advance notice that we are amending. And yes, I amended his initial petition to include hardship ground and support that with evidence. I amended our petition, sent in the amended petition, sent in an affidavit, sent in supporting documents, and letting them know so that they prepare their mind that this is what we're coming with. In addition to what you have on file, which obviously wasn't solid enough, please consider this in advance. So that already gives you grounds that someone is already reading through and expecting you to come support that. My client also had text messages. He had photographs of one photograph, but we did not have a psychological evaluation. Before the interview, but I think a week two, we did a very comprehensive Zoom prep. I called him, we role played, make things hard, and what to expect. Gave him a list of questions, and that's part of what I do. Give him a list of questions to go through, and I can tell you that if he's here, and he's probably going to be watching, that at least more than half of those questions were there, what to expect. Not because I know what, but because, once you do something in practice, you can anticipate what they're asking. Told him you have to remember the fact that you've crossed the line of a condition of residency doesn't mean that you should forget how you got the green card, the conditional green card to start with, because they were going to ask you the same questions there just to see if your story still matches. And that's exactly what happened. Prep with Jim, and then the day before the interview, because I couldn't get to Kentucky until the day before, or 2 days before I called, we had another follow-up prep, and then the morning of, he was a complete mess. He was nervous wreck, understandably. Went through, role played again, told him, he would ask him questions, I would give him the answers to say, and no lies, but prepping him, because I'm dealing with someone who doesn't want to get a divorce, and we have no evaluation done, and we're claiming extreme cruelty. So you've got to make sure you know what the heck you're talking about. And another thing is, I went in, when we got to the interview space, went in and let him know that I can't answer questions on your behalf. I can prep you as I've done, but if the officers say something that brought us on legal issues and legal argument, I can interject. And that's exactly what I did. Now, if you've been following me, you already can figure out that I'm very, very feisty. I'm a Nigerian woman. You can't tell a Nigerian woman no. We just don't hear. No means like, okay, I didn't convince you the first time. Let me try again. Just saying. But that's just my personality. It was like, okay. But the thing is, I knew that there were some things that once the officer said, I could interject. When he questioned my client about, because I can tell he was very nervous, and he questioned about, okay, so what does the culture have to deal with? And I was like, I can explain. I can use myself as an example. You don't get divorced. Nigeria has less than 1.01% divorce rates. It's just, we don't talk about abuse. At the end of the day, we could not get an answer. So, back and forth. Thank you. You have no idea to know that this man, Nigerian men are hard workers. Now, there are bad eggs in every group of people. But I know the struggle and I know the journey. And then you get here and someone wants to mess that up. I know that rubs me wrong. That makes it personal. Anyway, he couldn't make a decision on that day. So just to reiterate, we had the facts. We had a complete file copy. We had affidavits. We had evidence to support the extreme cruelty ground. We had specific evidence. And that's part of why I do in the consultation. I talk about your case and figure out what we can use in your specific case. Every case is different. Someone's abuse is different from yours. What we can use to support your case and make sure we have a solid case. Prep like hell. Excuse my friend, but prep you. Make sure you understand that I cannot answer your questions as far as your marriage or what happened, but I can interject with legal grounds, affidavits, and review that, and even summarize. So I would summarize. Listen, I just don't represent you as an attorney. I represent you as an attorney who has personally been through the immigration process. I came to the United States in 2002 on a visa because my mother says everyone in my family won the visa lottery and it was over age. And we're like, no, we're not leaving you. Became a citizen in 2014. I've been through the whole process. I get it personally. So for me, my passion comes from that. And so we went in there, broke down his affidavit and selected points so that he can remember, summarize his story for him, because he was just not thinking, dealing with the fact that I may lose my my green card and be in immigration court. I haven't seen my family. I have no clue where my kids are. There was a whole lot going on with this man. So anyway, those are the points that really helped us. But the interview was over. The officer says, I can't make a decision. And my Nigerian self, yeah, right? My Nigerian self kicked in and was like, what else you need? Now, I know not to cross the line. I'm not going to sabotage or jeopardize my client's case. But it was just, okay, what else do you need? We've talked, giving you text messages. What? I didn't say that, but I was like, what else do you need? He goes, well, I just can't. If I can't deny, I can't approve at this point. I have to talk to my supervisor. We're going to go through the whole case. If we deny it, we'll send you a denial notice. If we approve, if we even say approve, if we need more evidence, then we'll send you an RFE. So my client and I left. He walked me back to my car, and you can tell he was. But I told him one thing. I said, I got you. Do not worry. I don't care if we end up in immigration court. This case, you're not going to leave the country and not get to see your children. You're not going to be deprived of being here and raising your children because someone decided to up and go so they won't have to file despite everything they have put you through, working hard, working nights, and still supporting your children, sending them money. But even though you don't know their location, but you're sending money, the transfer money. I don't care how long this case takes. We are going to get you your 10-year green card. I don't care what, obviously it's going to cost you money. But there were some fees I told them I would waive that for you. I want to make sure you get your 10-year green card. So we didn't get a decision that day with everything we did. I left Kentucky, came back home, and that was back in April. We've been waiting. Along the line, I had to give him my personal cell phone number. I can't remember any, maybe one other immigration client who had a really bad case. But other than that, I don't give him my personal, but I had to give it to him. He said, because he was getting depressed, really depressed. But he still didn't want to get a divorce. But I said, you know what? I'm hopeful. But worst case scenario, this is what we have to anticipate and prepare for. Long story short, We had all our evidence, we had all our ducks in a row, hoping for the best. But at the end of the day, when I say how we won this extreme cruelty case, I can only do what God gives me the power to do humanly. But at the end of the day, the heart of the king is in God's hands. I don't care who you are. If God says you're going to say yes to something, you're going to say yes, whether you like it or not. Now, I got to do my part as your lawyer, obviously, and I know how to talk. Like, growing up, my dad used to say, I hope you find a job that you can make money with that mouth. So, I can talk all day, but at the end of the day, if God says yes, that's all it takes. So I'd say all that. We put all the information, we put all the argument up, drafting affidavits and supporting and sending everything in. But finally, even when man could not decide, God said yes. And so on Friday, this past Friday, I sent him the email notification where it says they had ordered his new card. And yesterday we got the approval notice that his 751 extreme cruelty waiver ground had been approved. I get very emotional. I cannot tell you how many cases I work on, even including 751. But this guy, getting to know, and I get to know my client, I want to know who you are, because I can't work for you without knowing who you are. Getting to know, very laid back, easygoing, till yesterday, he still sent me a text. I really love my wife. I hope things can work out. I don't care what she's done to me. And I really, truly hope that God rekindles things for him. But to know, and sending that email yesterday and say, you ain't going, because he said, okay, well, what about if I go to Canada? You ain't going to Canada. You ain't getting your 10-year green card. That is the reward. Beyond making money, beyond, that is the reward. Yes, that is the reward. And this is what I do. It's one thing to have an immigration lawyer, but like his case, he had a previous lawyer who is non-African and could not understand why he was refusing to get a divorce, could not understand what the resistance in therapy was. I can. I've been through a divorce. I can relate to not getting counseling and why you will not do that, even when it makes sense and legally makes sense. But why you would not do that? Because sometimes family pressure and custom and culture and traditions are just powerful. If you haven't been there, you would never understand. So if someone tells you it's not possible, please get a second opinion just to be sure. Like I said, I could be your second opinion. I can even be your first one. But just double check and make sure that you know that you have explored all your options. So I have a client now who retained my services less than a month and a half to the day we had the interview in Kentucky, and prepped him, sent in all our additional evidence, and finally, he can actually sleep and just give God alone all the praise. If you have any immigration case that we can help you with, please contact my office. This is my passion. This is my passion. I don't know how else to say it, but this is my passion. And thank you for all those who support me doing what I do. 751 waiver grounds extreme cruelty is, it's a high burden. As long as we're able to consult and talk over and let you know the pros and the cons and where we can, and really, I can never guarantee an outcome of a case. I can't. But the one thing I want every client to leave with, anytime, whether you move from my office to somebody else's, you look back and say, if nothing, she gave it her very best. She did everything she possibly could do for me. That's my reward. So congratulations to my client. It's going from 2-year green card to a 10-year green card. He's probably watching, and congratulations to you if you are. And if we can help you with your immigration cases, the number and email contact scrolling across the screen, 334-341-4475, aos@olalawfirm.com, and call us so we can figure out your case and your strategy in your case. Thank you to all those who jumped on. I really do appreciate it. And yes, I do speak Yoruba language. I did a TikTok video like, you don't speak Yoruba language. I do. I be killing English. That's it. Anyway, thanks to all those who jumped on. Enjoy the rest of your evening, everybody. And until next time, and if you haven't subscribed to our YouTube channel, please do so. That would be very much appreciated. Trying to grow the audience and subscribers. And I have tons and tons of information. Like, I can't even count how many videos I've done. And that's because I charge for consultations, $125 credit towards the attorney fees if you retain my services. But sometimes you don't necessarily need a consultation. You can get information you need from my videos. So if that helps one person, it's worth it. Bye, everybody. See you next time.